Hello, this is VNa's Podcast Daily, and following are today's highlights.
A national conference opened in Hanoi on March the 7th to review the fight against corruption and wastefulness. The state bank plans to cut prime interest rates by 1% in the next few days. The Vietnamese leather and footwear sector will strive to increase its share of the domestic market to ease its dependence on export.
President Chiang Kai-shek on March 6 received a delegation of the Japan Business Federation, K-Rent, who visited Vietnam to boost cooperation in the fields of aviation, transportation, nuclear power, and mining.
The Federation's chairman, Yonakura Hiromasa, emphasized that this visit is an important opportunity for representatives of leading Japanese economic groups to discuss their proposals with Vietnamese state and party leaders. He affirmed that Japanese enterprises are poised to share expertise in human resource training, infrastructure development and technology with Vietnam. President Sang spoke highly of the role of the Japan Business Federation, and in particular the Vietnam-Japan Economic Committee, in boosting the trade and investment partnership between the two countries. He asked the Federation to help encourage more enterprises to invest in Vietnam in the fields of high technology, infrastructure, human resource training and the environment. Sang affirmed Vietnam will support Japan's participation in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The same day, the President received a business delegation of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce from Sri Lanka. He welcomed the Sri Lankan businessmen seeking opportunities in Vietnam. He said the two commerce chambers should exchange information on the opportunities available and the strengths of each side to boost two-way trade to the target figure of $1 billion. The President said Vietnam is willing to share its experience in attracting foreign investment with Sri Lanka. Chairman of the Sri Lanka-Vietnam Business Council, Anton Godfrey, said the business people in the delegation hope to engage in direct exchange with local partners to seek opportunities for importing Vietnamese goods and to expand the cooperation in investment between the two countries.
A national conference opened in Hanoi on March 7th to review the fight against corruption and wastefulness in the light of the 10th Party Central Committee's resolution and the 5-year-old anti-corruption law.
Opening the event, Party Politburo member and Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng, who is also chairman of the Central Steering Committee for Anti-Corruption, reiterated the party and state's resolve to fight corruption. The issue was one of the highlights of the 11th Party Congress last year. Most recently, the 4th plenum of the 11th Party Central Committee also adopted a resolution defining urgent measures to strengthen the party, one of which is to stop and prevent the degradation in political ideology, morality and lifestyle among not a small number of cadres and party members, in particular managerial officials at all levels. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc reported to the conference that during the 10th tenure from 2006 to 2011, party committees at all levels found violations committed by 11,594 party members and took disciplinary actions in 3,000 cases. The Party Central Commission for Inspection has taken measures or proposed measures against 4 Party Central Committee members in the 10th tenure. 17 secretaries, deputy secretaries and members of party committees at provincial and ministerial levels, and 2 party committee secretaries of state-owned economic groups. During the same period, more than 1,400 corruption cases were put on trial, with almost 304,000 defendants. Nevertheless, participants at the conference admitted that many shortcomings remain in the investigation and trial of corruption cases. The number of cases brought to light did not reflect the real scale of the problem, and it usually took a longer time to deal with these cases compared to other crimes. At the same time, many party committees were not really serious in the study of the anti-corruption resolution. The conference aims to work on measures to correct the weaknesses and improve the efficiency of the anti-corruption fight.
Vietnam's economy has shown some positive signs in the first 2 months of this year, which is important for the country to cope with the challenges that lie ahead.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade told a press conference on March the 5th that industrial production in February this year increased by 10%. The processing and manufacturing industries recorded the highest growth rate of 14.9%. Other industries such as electricity generation and oil and gas exploration also saw a strong growth. February's export turnover posted an increase of 15.6% over the previous month and 66.3% over the same period last year. The 2-month turnover of exports reached $15.3 billion, a year-on-year increase of 24.8%. The CPI increase in February was 1.37%, with the 2-month figure sitting at 2.38% year-on-year, and the ministry estimates that the CPI in March will increase by 0.5%. However, the ministry has forecast many difficulties ahead, both domestic and global, and some major exports such as rice, coffee, and seafood will face increased competition from overseas rivals. Trade promotions need to be stepped up to support the export of agricultural products as well as with the government's policies that support businesses, the ministry added.
High interest rate is one of the major concerns for businesses in the first 2 months of the year. The situation is expected to improve soon, with the State Bank planning to cut prime interest rates by 1% in the next few days.
State Bank Governor Nguyễn Văn Bình announced the plan on March the 6th following the regular cabinet meeting.
It's time the State Bank cut interest rates by 1%. It means all the interest rates, including the base and the overnight rates on the interbank market, will be reduced by 1%. For credit organisations, the ceiling interest rate will also decrease 1% a year. The State Bank will announce the official decision in the next few days.
He said the adjustment was based on optimistic signals of the economy. Noteworthy was the small increase in the consumer price index in the first 2 months, compared to the same period of many previous years. Exports were growing at a rate doubling of that imports, while exchange rates remained stable, and the gap between gold prices in the domestic and world market has narrowed.
Changes in savings and lending interest rates will help reduce debt payment pressure on enterprises in the current difficult situation and help them operate sustainably.
The reduction is expected to bring lending interest rate down, contributing to maintaining inflation control and improving businesses' access to capital.
A delegation of Dutch enterprises arrived in the southern city of Cần Thơ on March 6 to seek investment opportunities in the Mekong Delta provinces.
Most enterprises have been doing business in Vietnam in the fields of consultancy, technical design, agriculture, water management, cattle feed, quality management, and education. On the occasion, representatives of Cần Thơ City delivered briefings on local geography, economic potential, and priority fields for investment. Vietnam exports 40 commodities to the Netherlands, mainly seafood products, footwear, textiles, coffee, rice, and pepper. At present, the Netherlands has more than 130 investment projects in Vietnam, with a total capital of $5.7 billion. Most of the projects are in the southern provinces in the fields of foodstuffs, oil and gas exploration and exploitation, petrochemicals, cosmetics, hotel business, and construction.
The Vietnamese leather and footwear sector will strive to increase its share of the domestic market to ease its dependence on export while raising the rate of locally made raw materials to 50%.
According to the Vietnam Leather and Footwear Association, the sector plans to supply the domestic market with nearly 70 to 75 million footwear products and 16 to 18 million handbags this year, meeting between 55 and 64% of domestic demand, respectively. At the same time, the sector is aiming for an export growth of 12%, with $7.3 billion from footwear and $1.5 billion from handbags. To achieve this goal, It will further uphold Vietnam's competitive edge to maintain traditional markets, continue to improve research capacity for development, reform managerial and production technologies, and issue a reasonable pricing policy. Statistics of the Ministry of Industry and Trade showed that in February, footwear enterprises faced issues such as dependence on imported raw materials for production and a workforce shortage.
And that comes to the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.